Hey everybody, and welcome to my live. So I wanted to bring you guys on the process today. I got to record bass for this track. Artist, cool friend, FREEWILL, working on his song, and so I know I have to probably repeat this again when people start jumping in. I'm just coming right out. I don't want to waste any time. So I'm again recording bass for this song. Let me jump. Oh, give me just a second. Hey guys, go back out. I'm recording. All right, so I'm back. Coming in quick today. Let me know when you watch and that kind of thing. So, all right. Again, I'm working on about the song. It started out as just an idea. Really cool, good, soulful, nice. He's doing, and he wasn't sure the direction he wanted to go. Well, he was the direction he wanted to go, but not necessarily concerning like the bass and that kind of thing. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give him 2 takes because there is no drums. I'm gonna put some scratch drums down so I can get a better feel for what I'm recording, and I like to have some type of reference to. UK, what's up? I have to have some type of reference to play to, as far as drums. But I don't always have to have one from an artist. If I got an idea of the direction that they're heading, it kind of gives me a better feel if there is no drums on the track. So this is something that I sometimes do when there is no drums, simply because I produce as well. So I'm gonna put a scratch take of drums down, just keyboard drums, just to get a good feel for where it is I'm going. I just want to have a roadmap or something to reference as far as drums. All right. So let's see here. Let me do this. Try to change it. Come on, give me that option. Give me that option. I'm trying to figure out why is it not allowing me to choose what I want here. I got it. Let me bring it back. Let me bring it back over here. See if I can do it here. If it allows me to do that. Try to bring it back over. All right, I'm going the wrong way. There it is. So let's try it this way. And for everybody else jumping on, Kansas City, I see you. Doing great, bro. Switch from the keys to the bass over this quarantine season. I have newfound respect for you. Yeah, once you start getting to the other stuff, you see it's a little more interesting. All right, so I'm gonna put some scratch drums down just so I got a better feel. So let me see, lock that in so it doesn't fall. Let's put some scratch drums on this track and just try to make it feel kind of similar to what it's gonna be. Get these keyboards on. Who else we got watching today? Virginia Beach, Terrell, what's up, man? Prince, Dimitri. Yeah, so again, I wanted to bring you guys in. I know Friday I normally post the live. I'm sorry, I normally post a video on Friday, but this time I wanted to do it, switch it up a little bit. I want to go live. Oh yeah, and before I get too far into this, I wanted to announce the winner of the SIT Foundations, the next set of strings, the giveaway. That's Thomas Levine. And remember, at the end of this video, be sure to comment where you're watching, because if you put it in a live feed, I probably won't see it. So wait till it's actually posted and comment. For you guys that's watching the replay, go and comment your name and where you're watching from in the comments. I'm giving away strings each week. So, yep. All right. So, and if you're watching and you want on the previous videos, your stuff is already in the mail. It's being shipped to you. All right. So let's get these drums down. Let me see another comment before we get it. Play track, please. I'm going to play it. This is John, also from Canada. I'm definitely checking out. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, all right. So let's get reflects the style of music. I think that'll work. It's scratch. He's probably not going to keep this. So I just want something for reference sake. trying to get an idea of what I want to do. Let me see if I got that might work. I think I have another kit though. I think I have another drum kit that might work. Electronic drum kits. Let's go. Drums, acoustic kits. Let's go. I think I have a better kit that might be a better fit for this. What's up, Richard? I'm gonna try to respond to you all's comment. There we go. Some good old soul drums, and these drums are not going on this record. I'm just putting these drums. What's that, Joel? What's up, man? H-Town. I'm just putting these drums down as a reference so I can have something to feed off of. This track, again, is by my friend FREEWILL. I've done work with him over the years. Great up-and-coming artist. That's I think he's been featured on BET a few times. But working on a new song with him, and I put guitar down already, and I'm adding bass. Want to bring you guys down on the process of the bass. All right. Nigeria, I see you. What's up, man? Skarabi, Alex, what's up? All right. So I'm trying to get an idea of the feel I want. So all right, getting that old Al Green feel. All good, man. Let's see here. All right, not feeling that. I'm not feeling that hi-hat. It's too much hi-hat. Going back and forth to try to get the right feel, because that's all of that is determining how I'm going to approach this bass line. So I don't like that 4 on the floor, so see which one feels better. This helps me save time on my bass line as well. I'm doing the hard part now. So those 16ths feel better. I think that's it, but I made an accident there. because it's small. To keep track of where I fall. It's the greatest of all. Love, I'll show you. Most of the time, a few will walk along. But love, so true. Times are all wrong. It's the place where you shelter when it's pouring. No love won't hold. Love always will. Alright. I know I did like several patterns in there. I was just trying to figure out one that actually made sense, that felt the best with the groove. And I think I found something that worked. So let's see here. I think I found something that worked. I wasn't sold on that one. I know that that one out of the gate. But I think when we hit that second chorus, that's when it started feeling right to me. All right, let's see here. It's got a little swing, too much swing on it. Let's do that. Shine, what's up, man? Big Nick, what's up? I'll tell you. One of those is starting to feel a little better, so I'm gonna go with that pattern. All right, so don't want no crash right there. Program drums for this whole song. I'm just trying to give myself a reference. So I think out of those two patterns I can work. I think I gave myself enough to work with. Cause he's gonna recut drums, like real drums or program drums, and this might not even be the feel, but it gives me something. scratch drums to work with so I can go ahead and start working on this bass. All right, let's name a track. So getting right into the bass, what I do, and again guys, these are not, just in case you guys are jumping on here late, these are not the official drums that will go on this song. This song doesn't have any drums on it. So just to give myself a better reference, I'm putting down some scratch drums. I'm not getting too crazy with it because he's not telling me to produce the song, so I'm not getting too crazy. I'm just giving myself for something for feel's sake. What I'm using for this particular recording, this is an old soulful record. So I pull out this old P bass. I'm getting this good old P bass, and how I'm running, I get a lot of questions about how do I record in. So I'm going straight into my head. I'm using my TC electronic. I go straight into my head. I'm basically using it as a preamp, and it has a direct out on the back of it that sends it right into Logic through my interface here. Look over my desk, is messy, but my interface here, I'm using going right in through the interface straight into Logic Pro. I record using Logic Pro, the software here, and so I'm just trying to get a really nice, warm, kind of soulful sound. Try not to sound too modern, but still have a little clarity in the tone. So I think I'm pretty much there with that, and just having a nice balance. Now I gotta just play around with the bass line and see what feels the best for this track. I told him I was gonna give him 2 takes, 2 approaches, one with the and one I think I'm gonna do a different kind of way. But yeah, I'm gonna give some variations in this, and so I might end up having to adjust these drums to go with the different takes. So let's see what I got going on here. So this is my first attempt at this on bass. So y'all getting the real raw behind the scenes. So I had a few things going on in there. I'm still feeling my way through this song. Let's do that. Turn up that hit a little bit. And notice for the most part, I'm laying back because of the type of song it is. I was listening to this, I don't know how many of you guys were able to catch it last night. I was listening to this Marcus Miller interview he did with Robert Sput Seawright, the drummer for Ghost Note and Snarky Puppy. He did an interview with Marcus Miller, so really, really, really great. And Marcus Miller, he was talking about these particular gigs that he would play. I can't remember the name of the guy he played gigs with, but one of the things he said, they would play that gig and the guy would record the gig the entire night, and he would make them come sit out in the car and listen to everything they played that night, and he would grill them on, like, why did you play that? Like, especially if it was a certain groove and it felt a certain way, he would ask them, okay, the groove was feeling fine. Why did you change it right here? What happened? You got bored or something? Why in the world would you change the groove? And so, I thought that was a really, really interesting topic. It stuck with me, something I wanted to bring up in the next lesson. Why are we playing the things that we're playing in these songs? I know everybody, with me being the lick and riffs guy, a lot of people are always looking to play more and more riffs and licks and that kind of thing. But, you know, what's the reason why we're playing all of these riffs? Let's see here. I don't want to get too far left without answering some of these questions. Let's jam sometimes. All right, I think I got. All right, so John Mark said that's a sweet jam. Appreciate it, man. Can you show us some slap? Not gonna be slapping on this song. Hi from LA. Thanks for sharing your process. No problem. Pre-DI, yes. So I'm, like I said earlier, I was going straight into my TC Electronic RH 750, and I'm using it basically as a preamp. You don't have to do that. I could have recorded this straight in. That's just kind of my go-to process, kind of how I've been recording for years now, and so that's what works for me. So I kind of tend to stick with my process. I don't like to change up too much when I'm recording, unless I'm trying to go for something completely different. I say this all the time, and I hope people can see that in this video. When it comes to getting gigs, session, and even live, it's all about being able to sit in the pocket. Absolutely, all pocket. So, all right. So with this, okay, I'm gonna do another take of this. First, I want to get this bridge and make sure I got this bridge under my hand. So, and I'll come back to some points. I want to make sure I got this bridge, because the biggest thing, I got to record this right now. So. Cool. I got the bridge. I know the bridge. So again, so my approach at the top of this song, listening to the style, you always want to make sure you're locking in with whatever the style of the song is. So I'm taking it's like a cross between, hopefully you guys, can y'all actually hear the bass when I'm playing? Let me know in the comments. Can you hear the bass while I'm recording? Did he send you a chord chart? No, he didn't send me a chord chart, and that's a good question, because with this song, it was pretty much straight to the point. All he sent me with this song was his guitar and his vocal, and that was pretty much this. Let's see how I can do this. Got you. You can hear the bass too. So that's what he sent me, and I recorded all the extra guitars and all that kind of stuff, and I'm going back now and, you know, adding the rest of the stuff. So again, just in case you're jumping on here, these drums are not the official drums for this track. Just wanted to put it down so I could have a reference. All right, cool. Y'all can hear the bass. I got you. Is it important to recommend? Oh, wait a minute. Is it important to record with the fret wrap? For this particular song, for me, it's not as much so as it would be for a song that I'm going to be in the higher register. That way I could mute the strings if I wanted to do like a solo take, and if I accidentally bumped the string and I had a really, really great take, I can still keep it with the string mute. It's not necessary for this particular song, because it's not necessary. It's just old school soul. And that's the thing I was going to say about understanding the style of music that you're playing and choosing. If you only have one bass, trying to get that bass to match the tone of what the style of music is, instead of just playing, hey, this is my tone, this is my one tone that I do for every song. Be versatile. And one of the things I did with the producer or the artist of this song, the artist is actually the producer as well, I asked him what he's looking for. Because I could impose my own, he wants me to add my own thing to it. But the important thing is making sure that I capture what that artist wants as opposed to everything that I want in the song. Now, the cool thing about me and this artist, I've been working with him for years, and he already kind of knows my feel. I've played with him live. I know what he likes. I know what he wants. So that makes it easier for me in the recording process. I know in that regard, I have a little bit more free range to be more creative. And he knows that I'm not going to take it too far left. I'm not going to turn into solo Jermaine on this song. So I'm just keeping all of this stuff in context with regard to what the feel of the song is. All right, so I'm gonna try another take. I was feeling my way through it, and sometimes I might have to do several takes to make sure I'm feeling what it is I'm playing before I just lock in on, okay, that's it. Nah, we make sure that it feels, with everything, it feels good. So here it goes again. Right there, I'll point this out because it's still a lesson. When I did that octave, I didn't feel like that octave added anything. It was kind of a habit, and I did it, but when I did right there, I don't feel like it added nothing in that part of the song. So I'm gonna take it out. I don't want that octave there because to me it's taken away. It didn't add anything. Maybe on the next round after it's been introduced, I can add something extra. But on that first round introducing it, you gotta kind of be aware when you're opening the song up like a old school or a really smooth song that doesn't call for a lot. Less is more, especially when you're opening this stuff up. So I'm gonna start it again. All right. So I don't know if I want to do that there. So I'm trying to, like, my ad libs. I'm trying to make sure that the ad libs that I'm doing match the rhythm and feel of the whole track. So like you hear me doing so. All right, I don't know what's going on with the little connection again there. I don't know. My connection only gets weird like this when I'm live for some reason. So in some cases it does, and it depends on the agreement. If you're doing a song as a work for hire, it can add to when you're, adding your own stuff. In this case of this song, yeah, I would probably be considered part writer, composer for the music because I did write the bridge as far as the music is concerned. But for most part, when an artist gives you the music and they pretty much have everything laid out, then in that case, you're just a work for hire. You're just playing. It's really on the agreement that you and the artist have. Technically, if they give you a piece of music and there is no clue to what the bass line is going to be at all, yeah, you're kind of creating. You're in the sense of creating, and you and that artist or you and that producer have to come to an agreement. If they're not paying you enough money to not say you created, you have to come to some type of agreement. If you're aware that, hey, I'm like, and let's be clear with that. If you're playing, if they give you the progression and you know exactly what the bass line is, and you're just adding little ad libs here and there, that doesn't mean you're writing a song. That just means you're adding your own feel to it. But if their bass line is like, if your bass line is something that makes the song, and it's really really substantial in creating the song, like making it what it is slightly different from what was already there. Then it gets, you just kind of have to be really clear when you're dealing with the artists and the producers, because all right. That could have been better. Oh yeah, I'm super hard on myself when I'm recording. So I'm gonna start back at that so y'all can see my right hand a little bit better. I'm gonna start at the third verse. Not because I'm completely satisfied with what I'm doing. I just want to keep it moving. I want to get all the way through this song, and then we'll go back and see what we can clean, that kind of thing. All right, so I'm gonna start back at the third verse. I'm gonna pick up right there at the end of that second chorus. Let's see, is that a better way I can get in there? Boom, 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 boom. Cool. I felt pretty good about that for the most part. And I learned something too in my second approach to that verse. The third time around, I was moving a little more, and I think I want all of the verses to move like that one moved. Let me go back to that third verse. And it was something I was doing with my octaves and fifths that I was moving it around. Let's see. Love don't come and go when you want it. Love won't give up when the times get rough. Love don't run for shelter when it's pouring. No, love won't go. Love always will. Alright, so normally I was playing before I was playing. I like the going back and forth between the octaves. So I'm gonna try that on the other verses and see if I can get a better feel because to me it could use some variation. Love ain't guns and the roses. I like that. Simple. Love ain't to rescue the fortune. Love ain't no talk to 3 in the morning. No, love ain't it's more than just love. Now, in my opinion, I should leave that one alone. To me, nothing was wrong. That's the opening verse. Not too much going on there. We can leave it alone, let it breathe. And I'm not moving really as much on the octaves. Well, I'm not moving at all on the octaves. I'm just going And the other thing I want to point out, you guys might notice, in the verses, I'm playing the choruses. I'm playing those like with my fingers, but when I'm doing the verses, I'm muting. It's just giving a different kind of, not as aggressive, and it's kind of keeping it warm without feeling like I'm, getting in anybody's way. And the bass is there, it's sitting up under everything. It's really, really solid. And so, yeah, I'm going back and forth. You hear me in the verses, going from this muting thing to the chorus. I'm going really a little bit more aggressive in the choruses. Being able to kind of go back and forth between that. All right, so I felt good with that. So let's see what the first chorus feels like. Because at this point, I want to keep most of this, or if I need to trash it, that kind of thing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm listening back to each section to see how I feel about the overall take. I'll tell you. So there, I think I can get away with adding those octaves in there and adding some little variation, because now at this point, the intro has been introduced, the verse has been introduced, this first chorus. We've established all the foundation stuff of the song. Everything is pretty solid. So now, I can start incorporating a little bit more personality into the song, just making it move, not too much, but incorporating a little bit more personality into it. So let's see here. Y'all still there with me? I know I'm going back and forth. I'm not looking at the comments too much. Sorry about that. All right. You sound really good, my brother. Good to see you. Be safe. James, appreciate that, man. What's up, dude? And Jason, be sure to comment after this is over with. Be sure to go back and comment on the actual video. That way I can see it when I get ready to do the strings giveaway. I can see it. If it's on the live comments, I might not see it. Persons, yes, we are here. All right, cool. Here we go on the second verse and the second chorus. All right, so second verse, second chorus. I think I can get a better take of that. So I'm just gonna mute the first one. I'm not gonna trash it. That's another thing. If you got something that's really decent already, don't automatically throw it away when you have another idea, because that idea might not necessarily work So you might need to keep it. So what I'll do is I'll create another track, and I'm gonna just drag my first idea down. And normally for me, um, especially if I'm not producing a record and I'm only cutting parts, yeah, it's Logic. It's Logic Pro. It's not Personas. I'm just understanding what you wrote. Yeah, it's Logic Pro. All right. So normally, what I'll do if I'm just cutting bass or if I'm just cutting guitar, man, you got unlimited tracks on here for most of you guys. So what I'll do, I'll create another track. Even with my punch ins, I don't necessarily I know how to punch in, but if I'm doing it this way, I like to just create a new track. Use another track. So most of the time, if I'm cutting bass, I'll have multiple tracks, and I'll cut this section to go back and recut kind of thing. So, all right, so I'm gonna cut this right here. I felt a lot better about that one. It moved a lot more, had a little bit more personality to it, but it didn't, to me, it didn't take over the song. So let's listen back. You always got to go back and check and make sure what you're thinking is actually accurate. So let's see how that felt in the groove. Love ain't proud at all. It's the greatest of all. Love ain't too big or too small. Being cracker when I fall. It's the greatest of all. Love, I'll show you. Most of the time, if you will walk alone. What's love? It's so beautiful. Come to love, made for you. I felt good about it. I felt good about that take. Even the feels that I did, I didn't feel like they got in the way too much. I think they carried it along a little bit more to kind of push the song. We know now we're in the second verse. It doesn't feel the same as the first. Doesn't feel the same as the intro, and we're just kind of gradually building the song up. All right. So, and we know in the rest of it, I kind of did a recut anyway. So let me go ahead and edit this and drop it back in. I want to just fit all of this together. And let's see here. I'll drag that there. And I'll go back when I'm done recording everything, I'll go back and clean up all of that with my crossfades and all that kind of stuff. Right now, I'm just getting what I need. I'm getting it recorded and just getting it, trying to set it in there clean. So, all right, so that's the first take. That's the first take. Remember, you guys, I told you I was going to give you two options. I was going to give the producer two options, and so that's what I'm doing. Love ain't proud at all. It's the greatest of all. Love ain't too big or too small. Being cracker when I fall. It's the greatest of all. Alright, cool. So let's go. Let's do the second take. Let's do the second take. Alright. For some reason, that's panned to the right a little bit. Make sure I'm not missing any comments. All right, cool. So my second take, I'm gonna do more of a pulsing. Just add a little bit more variation to the track. So that's what I'm gonna do for the second take. All right. Hello, sir. Awesome work there. I've been using Cubase for the past 4 months now. Recommendations, the bad, the good. I haven't used Cubase, man, years. I haven't really used Cubase in years. as far as just recording in general, my recommendation would be always check your levels before you start. Notice, I don't know how well you guys can see my levels, but notice with my bass levels, I'm sorry about the shaky camera, but notice with my bass tracks, they're not over the top big. Sometimes you can go bigger than this. It depends, you know what I'm saying? But these are not really huge. The waves are not huge. Now you could go in there. I'm gonna demonstrate. I can click on this wave and make it bigger. I'm gonna demonstrate what's like outrageous. This right here. If your wave is looking like that, that's too much. You know, you got there you go. So you can see it. That's way too much. It's clipping. It's too loud. If it looks like that, it's clipping. But if you have it in a nice, you have it in a nice area, like like so. What I have, and it doesn't have to be that soft, but something that's kind of controlled. It makes it easier for the engineer in the mixing process when he's ready to mix the record, or whoever that has to engineer this record, when they're ready to mix. If your wave is a little bit more controlled, it gives you more headroom. That way, if they want to add something to your bass, they have a lot more headroom. Notice mine is really low, and as far as my wave is really low, but you can hear everything I'm doing really clear. And it's easier to take a wave and make it bigger, which means raise the gain it up. It's easier to gain it up than to gain it back down, because if you record and it's too loud and it's clipping, well, even if I gain it down, it's still going to be clipping. But if I record it soft and it's clear, it's really clear, it's just really soft, to gain it up is no problem. So just be really aware of your gains. That's the biggest thing that I would say when you're recording. Be aware of what those gains are looking like. Do you record with a compressor plug in on the track? Right now, there's really no compression. I have a little compression on my bass amp, but it's like nothing serious at all. The problem I have is I use passive bass to record, so whenever I render the final audio, it seems to be overpowered by the other tracks, and I have to cut a lot of the levels for the other tracks. Well, that's what I'm saying. With the gain, even if you're recording with passive bass, with the gain, you can always gain it up. Like that, what I just did in Logic, I just took it and I gained it up. You can gain the volume up. So that's no problem to gain it up a little bit. And you might be able to get, just to help you there, you might be able to use your amp head as a preamp. Most of these amps now, if you have a newer amp, you can use it as a preamp. So guys, you don't have to always go out and buy a preamp. You can use your amp head. I have a preamp here. This is a great one that I use. The Spectra Drive, I'm sorry. You can use a Spectra Comp or a Spectra Drive by TC Electronics. This is kind of what I use as a preamp as well. But either one of them, like if I'm on the road and I want to record and I want a nice preamp and I don't want to take that, I can take something simple like this and you use it to record. And so it makes life a lot easier. You can get the gain, you can get a little bit more EQ. Just say if your strings aren't giving you all you want, you can always EQ it up, EQ the highs, EQ the lows, whatever. And it kind of offsets putting a onboard preamp in your bass if your bass is not as beefy. If it's missing something, having that preamp can help you beef up, or even having your amp head can help you beef up whatever your bass might be missing. Like mine is pretty much set flat for the most part. I just like to warm it up. The preamp seems to warm it up a little bit. And what I mean by warmer, the tone is overall a little bit more round. It's not as I'm having a hard time trying to even explain it. You just have a better tone to it, in my opinion. At least I try to use some plugins like Mark Studio from Overload. They really come in handy. Yeah, any plugins, that kind of thing in the back end. I try not to record bass using plugins going in, unless I'm just using some effects. But the effects and stuff are so sweet now, you can kind of get away with that. Bass, I like to keep it pretty dry for the most part, and then add all of the stuff in post-production. That way I know my signal going in was sweet, and I can always, kind of adjust if I need to in post. But your signal going in, that's the number one rule of recording. Your signal going in is going to determine everything. If you have a great signal going in, well, the mixing and all that stuff can always take something great and make it better. But if it's bad going in, you're gonna have a hard time trying to get a clean sound on the backside of it when it's bad going in. So just be aware of your signal. All right, so let's jump into the second take. I spent a little bit more time than I wanted to on this song, but it's all good. I'm trying to help somebody. Yeah, I apply these plugins after recording. Cool stuff. What's up, Brazil in the house? All right, so yeah, so let's jump into the second take. Remember, I said I'm going to be trying to post this one a little bit more than the other one. All right. All right, it would help if I muted the other track. That'll probably help me play a little better. All right, so let's see here. And I'm not gonna copy that. Let's try it. Okay, I'm going back and forth trying to figure out which do I want the straight or do if I want the. What's up, Moses? Like, so now with the pulsing, even though I'm going all four on the floor or eights or whatever you want to call it, now I'm getting the variation. So instead of the, maybe I want to save that to the end of the song. So what I'll do to introduce it, I might just go. And so it's almost like I'm playing the and. The first one is a ghost note. It's giving you the illusion of a, ba da da da, but it's more of a ghost note on the first one and catching the and. So it's a slightly different feel. All right, so I missed some comments here. Did you record the rhythm guitar part? Yep, I did. When you record and send the bass track producer, do you send the raw bass track or do you add EQ effects and compression? I try to, how I'm recording it now is how I'm gonna send it. Most of the time, unless they asked for that, a good thing is to send it to them raw. Now, if you wanna send your version, hey, these are my preferred sound, this is what I use, I would print out 2 versions of it if I were you. If you wanted to do that, print out one, when I say print out one, just bounce down one that's got all of your sounds on it, send that one, and also bounce down one that has nothing, it's just straight raw, send it. And you give them, like, you have a preferred sound that you're looking for from your bass, they might take it and they might not. You don't make that call as just a hired musician, but you can make a suggestion. So you can give them options because that might be something you do that's kind of cool that they weren't thinking about using. And if you send them that other version, they may end up going with it because it might be something cool. So great question. That intro pickup block. I like the forward pulse movement. Yeah, man. So that's what I was kind of feeling in the beginning of it. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep that intro. I think I like that raw guitar thing and kind of cool. I don't know if the producer might want it. I might do it on a separate track, and then I'll do one with nothing on it. Just give them options. That's a good way to get a callback. Give producers options. So when you record, I'm letting y'all know some secrets. When you're recording, give more than one option. And that people like that. They like having options. So because you might go back and do it over 4 or 5 times when you don't give them options. But if I give you an option of 2 takes, more than likely, if you explain to me what you want pretty well, and I give you 2 takes, you're gonna have more than enough. So most of the time, producers and songwriters are happy when you give them like 2 takes. It makes their job easier, and I feel like I got options. So instead of telling you to go back and record that, unless it was something specific you missed, they're more likely to be like, okay, I got 2 of them now. I need to see which one I want to keep. So it makes them a little bit more excited to have more than one option. All right, so let's see here. That okay. I'm trying to get to the next comment. Do you quantize notes when you complete with the recording, or you lock with the drums, or to lock with the drum? I don't quantize. I play as close to the bar as I can, the grid as I can. Uh, when it comes to live instruments, I don't quantize. I just try to get on that grid. Um, is the video going to be available to watch later? I'm busy. Yes, this is. I normally post on Fridays, so this will be the official post. So yeah, this video will definitely be available for watch later. So you guys can definitely watch this later. All right, options. Yep. Give the producer options. You will stay working when you give the producer options. Well, it's another contingency to that. As long as you do what the producer is asking for and give them a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? And if you guys, this is my last thing, if you guys have some ideas you want to throw in the track, but the producers specifically said play it this way, give them what they're looking for first. Give them a take with just plain Jane, whatever it is they ask for, give them that. And then give another take with you adding your sauce to it. You know what I'm saying? You add, hey, I thought this might have been dope if I did this. Give them that take, but make sure you give them what they asked you for first and then give them the other stuff. That way they know that, okay, you have a little bit more to offer. Okay, I didn't know you could do that. Cool. So now you're opening up a few more, opportunities for yourself, possibly if they hear you got a little bit more you can add to it. So let's get this tape down. I'm probably gonna leave that pickup line out and just let the guitar have that, just to have it really organic soul. Because if we try to stay with the '70s kind of feel, bass players weren't moving that much. Yeah, it depends on who you're talking about, but I'm trying not to go too far overboard with the song. All right. I even make mistakes too. Yep. I was going for something and my brain froze midway through it. All right, cool. I missed a comment, I think. I have a Squire PJ and I love it. Yeah, it's very versatile, especially for these kind of recordings. If you produce your own music, do you have a template with EQ effects for your bass you could share? I don't have any. I use those EQ effects normally when I'm doing my mixing process. And those effects, or they're more the effects, the presets that I have are more for my like solo records, and they're specified to my bass, if that makes sense. So it probably wouldn't work for this particular recording because it's like, again, it's specific to like my solo tone that I like to use, that I like to try to hear on recordings, and that changes. So for me, it's not always changing. it's just my ears are always adjusting, so I'm trying to make sure that whatever it is I have, like the preset that I have, it might not work for this track. So it would kind of be inaccurate for me to give that because it doesn't necessarily work in every context. All right. Um, Vic, what's up, man? I hope all is well with you. I'm late, just joining. All good, man. All good. All y'all jumping in. It's all good. I'm working on this song by a good friend, FREEWILL, and he's an artist, and he has a song. I put guitar on it, adding some bass to it. The drums that you hear, I've added the scratch drums just to give me a better feel for what's what. What gears are you recording through? What gear? Like I mentioned earlier, I'm using my TC Electronic RE750. I'm going through that, and then I'm going straight into the PreSonus Studio Live. And earlier in the video, so I'm gonna try to get this finished while it's still fresh on my mind. I'm gonna go back a little bit to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, so I think I need to create another track just so I can have some more wiggle room here. So let's see what it felt like. It's the greatest of all. Yeah, 48 is cool for bass. 24, yep. So the higher the sample rate is always better. If you have the option, if I remember to record at a higher sample rate, it's always better. Here I can record up to 192 with this particular interface, especially when I'm recording stuff like drums. I like to get it at a higher sample rate so it captures all of that little extra stuff. It's awesome that you take the time to answer the questions. Oh man, it is what it is, Kat. All right, so let's get this. So when I did this lick, it's something that I caught. I'm saying I'm listening to everything that's going on in this song. So even the little ad-lib stuff that I did with guitar, I'm seeing how I can complement my guitar ad-libs when I was playing. I was trying to find stuff that went around his vocal and I didn't get in the way of what the vocal was doing based on the outline that I had. So I'm just trying to record around everything that's going on. So let's see. Check this out. So even my line that I chose to play, I caught over the so I'm listening to that, and instead of just playing something, all that stuff, I'm finding something that works with the actual groove of the song. So even in choosing your licks, for you guys that have got my riffs and licks, or you learned some of these licks that I showed you on YouTube, take that stuff and make it work with the rhythm of what's going on in the song. Instead of just playing something, oh man, this is a really, really cool lick. Find something that actually complements the rhythm of what's happening in the song. So let's see here. And notice that wasn't super long. It's just played that little lick and got right back into that groove. Because to me, that groove is, that foundation is the thing that's keeping this whole thing together. So if I want to step out just a little bit, that's fine. Later in the song, like I did, but make sure you get back to that main, make the main thing the main thing. All right, so let's see here. I kind of like one of them. It would be dope if the bass laid out. I don't know if he's gonna do it, but it might be dope if the bass actually laid out for one of the verses. I don't know. Let's see what that feels like if I laid out and just ad-libbed over one of the verses and then came back in on the bridge, because this is the third verse. And so to keep it from being redundant, we can do things like that. You ain't always got to play. You can add a little something and get back out of the way. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what that feels like if I laid out for this third verse and, let it breathe. So here we go. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it.
Love don't come and go when you want it. Love won't give on the time to run. Love don't run for shelter when it's pouring. No, love won't fall. Love always.
So cool. Let's go back and see what that felt like in context.
Made for you. Love don't come and go when you want it. Love won't give on the time to run. Love don't run for
Let's see. One more time.
made for you. Love don't come and go when you want.
I like that no bass right there at the top of that.
Made for you. Love don't come and go when you want it. Love won't give on the time to run. Love don't run for shelter when it's pouring. No, love won't fall. Love always.
I think I can show up a little bit more in that bridge now. Since this is the second take, I've already gave one where I kind of played it pretty straightforward. I think I can kind of use this one to show up a little bit more. All right, and what I mean show up, I can move around, have a little bit more free range in this bridge, a little bit more. So the guitar suite, man, I love to some video of your guitar recording process as well. I would have that would have been great if I had thought about that. I thought hard about the guitar part. As simple as it sounds, sometimes the simplicity is a little harder because you have to think. This was already a guitar in this track, and with the rhythm guitar stuff that I did, I was playing around that guitar and also trying to find stuff that fit with the track without being too much in the way. Because the song is doing enough for itself. It's one of them really feel good songs. And sometimes, like what a lot of the music you hear now is so music heavy. It's like everything, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I didn't want that approach for this particular song. I wanted the song to speak for itself and the words to be more highlighted than the music. The music is there for support and it feels good. The feel over the licks and over all this extra stuff. You can hear the guitars because they're hot in the mix right now. But overall, I tried to think of stuff that I didn't get too much in the way, but I still gave the artist and the producer enough that they felt good about what it is I played, but not try to do too much as if I'm trying to make a statement because I didn't think this particular song called for that. All right, so let me get in this bridge, and I'm gonna try to move this bridge a little bit more. I think I can do a little bit more moving in this bridge with this tape, and that way I'm giving him an option of something that has a little bit more feel to it, you know.
No, love won't fall. Love always.
Not feeling none of that. So, all right.
No, love won't fall. Love always.
Almost. Let's listen to it. kept moving, but I think I need to spread it out a little bit more. All right, so let's try it again.
Love always.
I like that one a little better, but it could have been a little cleaner. All right, let's listen to it anyway. It felt good, so I'll keep it, but I know I'm probably not going to use it. It could have been better. That's my only thing. I'm not gonna trash it because there's some elements in there that was salvageable. I'm not gonna completely trash it, but I am gonna record it again because I feel like I could have done it better.
Love always.
How I'm getting to that? I like that better. I can go straight to it or walk to it. That might be a little better, a little chromatic walking into it. So let's see.
Love always.
Let's see what that felt like. All right. Cool. All right, I think I'm not gonna overdo it. I think that's cool. And what I'm gonna do at this point now, this is the point where you send it to the artist. Try not to overthink it. Do it. Give it your best. Clean up your take. We get in here. Let's clean it up a little bit. I'm gonna pull this up here and make sure I clean up this take. Make sure we don't have any hangover notes or any notes that chop off. Because y'all know I did some punching in here. So let's clean that up and make sure it's all solid. Open this up a little bit more. Matter of fact, let's do this. Take it up to the screen up here where I can see it a little bigger, a little better. And make that a little smaller. Probably a quicker way I can do this, but it is what it is at this point. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna clean up what I have here, these takes. I'm gonna make that bigger so I can really get in there and look at the waves and make sure I'm cleaning everything up. All right, so find out where I'm at. That seems to be pretty clean. I'll just solo that to make sure that transition was clean. Let's cut this metronome off as well. And don't forget to cut your metronome off when you bounce your tracks down, because if not, the click will be in there. All right, so let's go back. So when I took that click out, there's a little pop in there, so we want to make sure we clean that up, make sure that that pop is not there. So we're going to crossfade it. Alright, cool. Let's go. Oh, that's the end of the track. Go back to the top and make sure everything is clean in here. And at this point, I'm just going through. I'm going through and just finding my little punches to make sure that they're clean. All right, here's it one. I guess this is the top of the song. I think this is the second verse. There we go. So that's just going into that third verse, I think. So we're gonna clean that right there. So I need to get that a little bit earlier. Nice. All right. So which verse is that? Yeah, that's the third verse. That's not the top of the song. All right. Cool. I'll play. Sweet. So now that take is clean. We'll go back and check this first bass take and see how it sounds. Make sure we don't have any popping or anything in there. All right. All right, so definitely got some popping. We don't want that. Let's find a good place to slide this over. Like let's go. Let's try going right there. See if I can get away with that. Just in case I'm missing something you guys said. All right, cool. Cool. That's a good clean place to punch in. So let's check this. Right there. Let's clean that up. Crossfade that. That fade could have been a little better. I'm going to go in there and move it a little bit. Because it could have been a little cleaner than that. What I want to do is I want to drag over this take here. There we go. Then I'm going to make that fade a little smaller just to clean it up. This is the boring part of recording that most people don't like to do, but this is one of the most important parts if you're going to be recording for somebody sending tracks out. Because if you send your tracks out and they got a lot of clicks and pop stuff like that, people are probably not going to call you anymore because they can't trust your gas to drive to them so they can record you to make sure that they get good tracks. You might be a heck of a player, but if you can't edit your own files, they're going to want you to come to them simply so they can get good edits, good clean tracks. All right, or they might ask for the entire session. Like, can I get the session with you not doing any edits to it? Just give me the session and I'll do the editing. That's another option. You can send people the session. Instead of bouncing it down, you can just send them the entire session. Okay, all right, so we got that clean. All right, so it wasn't a lot of punching on here. I just kind of redid stuff trying to clean it up. So we got two bass takes. Here's the first one that I did. So I'm gonna take these drums out. I'm gonna send him a version with the drums so he can kind of get where I came from. But right now I'm gonna take the drums out so I can hear it without the drums.
Love ain't done.
Alright, so let's get the one that's doing more pulsing. When I'm saying pulsing, like more the 16th note situation. Alright. Alright, I'm good with it. So let's see here. So make sure my ending is clean. So I'm gonna send him a take. I'm not gonna bounce the actual individual files down yet because I want him to sign off and make sure he's good with everything before I bounce individual files. So what I'll do is I bounce out bass take. Let's say I'll mute this bass. I'll bounce out bass take 1, and you can name your takes. You know, we got bass take 1, and then we'll go bass take 2. So I'm gonna unmute bass take 1, bounce that down, get the full length of the track, and I'm sending him version with the drums and without the drums, just so he have context of both with drums, you know, with the feel that I went off of, and then I'll send him one without drums. So name it, whatever it is, and send it, and there you go. And so once you do that, you should be good to go. Bass take 1. I name it bass take 1 so he can identify what it is quickly when he wants to listen to it. Bass take 1 with drums. We'll name it that. And there it is. It's bouncing out. So thank you guys for hanging with me. Hopefully I answered a lot of questions in terms of my recording process, kind of how I do it, how I come up with stuff, how I get it done, and gave you guys a lot of clarity in that regard in your own process so you can figure out better ways to do what it is you're doing when you're recording, especially during this quarantine season. Try to work with a lot of people. Try to connect with some people that are near you. Get on some recording. Start recording. Record your own music. See if anybody else needs some bass or something like that. Hey, Jermaine, Bernard from Kenya. What's up, Bernard? All right, so I'm finna bounce another one down without drums. All right, we're gonna do bass take 1, just as is. All right, so there we go. So again, hopefully you guys are good. Hopefully you have enjoyed this. Hopefully this has been great and very helpful for you. Could you please mention again your DI and how you're going to Logic from your bass? Okay, so I'm going in through my TC Electronic RH750 head, or whatever head you have. If it's a newer head, that tends to work better because they kind of eliminated all the background noise. But with my TC Electronic head, I have a direct out. Most amps have a direct out on them. If the fan and all that kind of stuff is not too loud, it has a direct out, and you can use that direct out to go. You can either go pre-gain or post-gain. That's a whole nother conversation I'm not going to get into today. But you can go direct out, and I go into my PreSonus Studio Live. This is my interface that I use, my mixer. PreSonus Studio Live, I go in there, and that's how I get into Logic, all right? And my computer is hooked up like, you can go USB, you can go Thunderbolt, however your computer connects with your thing, you know, whatever it is. Firewire for some people. This is Firewire and Thunderbolt that I'm connected from this. and this is an older PreSonus board, but she's still sweet, so I'm good. And it's warm. This board is very warm. The TC head is very warm, so I'm getting a really warm sound when I'm recording in. So let me do this real quick. Let me bounce down bass take, bass take 2. Let's bounce down bass take 2. I'm gonna do one with drums, and I'll do one without drums. So yeah, that's my and I'm gonna see. I see the question. I'm gonna come back. Bass take 2 with the drums. All right. So, and what he has, he's gonna have like 4 tracks of just straight options, and he's getting an extra bonus in terms of a drum fill, just in case he wasn't sure what drum fill. This, even though that's not the drums, he'll get a better idea. Like, oh, okay, I might can go this route, or I don't like that route at all with the drums. And so it gives him ideas. It gives him something to work with, and that helps producers. Like, we love ideas. We love having ideas. It gives us more to work with, especially when they're good ideas. All right. Now I'm going to do one without drums. Okay. So let's see. Hopefully the other one started at beat 1. Bass take 2. There we go. So, yeah, let me see the other comments. Great tips. Thanks for sharing. Greetings from South Africa. Hey, thanks for watching. Got it. Thanks. I'm going straight to the Focusrite DI. And sometimes the bass sounds thin. We'll try and go through my amp. Hey, that's just an idea. It's what I do. I like it. And always check your EQ on your bass. Everything mostly is being controlled from your EQ on your actual bass. Because what your bass sounds like through your rig, if you have a lot of EQ stuff going on with your rig and whatever cabinet you're using, that's making a difference in your sound. So make sure, a good thing to do sometimes is to go direct in like you're doing and try to get the best sound you possibly can just going direct. That way you know your amp is not coloring up your bass. Like, I generally have my amp set pretty flat, so I know the actual tone that I'm getting is pretty true to what the bass is, is actually giving. But when you color it up too much with this is my opinion, when like with the preamp and the amp, if you color it up too much, you're getting just a real colored up sound. You're getting a bass, but you're getting a whole bunch of bells and whistles added to it, which is not bad if that's what you're going for, but just be aware that that's what's going to happen when you do that. All right, so I got everything here, and I'm gonna go ahead and send him an email. I'll probably do like WeTransfer or a Dropbox or something like that, and send him all of the files so he can go ahead and check everything off. And once he signs off on it and say he's cool, now I can dump my files down, because I don't want to have to dump them down twice, my individual bass files. If he wants something adjusted, I leave that there, so that way I can go right back in there and make the adjustment quickly. And another good idea, try not to reset your bass all the way until you have the sign off for the track, especially if your settings is slightly different for the recording. Don't just go straight to another song unless you have a lot of songs to do. It just makes the recording process easier if you can get the producer to sign off on the song before you go and reset your bass, and then you have to try to get those exact settings, because if you got to punch something in, you want to get as close to the original settings as possible that you had on the original tape. That way when you punch, everything is seamless. It doesn't sound like a punch in. Everything sounds really, really seamless. So that's what we're going for. We're going for a really clean sound. We're going for a really seamless sound. And at the end of the day, remember and think about why it is you're playing what you're playing. You want to make sure that you're playing stuff that makes sense, things that add to the song, that kind of thing. They don't take away from the groove. Hey, Jermaine, is there a difference between using the pedal and without? I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, it's definitely a difference. If you have a pedal that's going to add some type of sound to your bass, I don't know what you mean when you say that. So, yeah, that's it for me, guys. Thank you all for hanging with me. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to share this video with somebody. I'd love for more people to see this. Just kind of how we record behind the scenes. I record my bass from my bass head DI and a 15-inch cab. It sound the same. Got you. Thanks a lot for the tips. No problem. No problem. Tour, Edu, Impulse Music. Michael Anderson, I appreciate that. Glad you guys hung around. Michael, I remember seeing your name at the top of it, so you've been in here for a minute. So, so I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm gonna get this over, and hopefully we're good to go. And one thing you can do, guys, is also check your files before you send them. Everything might have been fine when you were bouncing them out, but every now and again, you might run into that scenario where something got in there in the bounce that shouldn't have been. So it's a good idea to check your files. Check your files and make sure everything is cool. So I'm gonna check bass take 2, make sure it comes in right.
Love don't come and go when you want it. Love won't give them when the times get rough. Love don't.
Cool. So I'm just kind of skimming through it just to make sure it's sweet. Let's check the drums. This version with the drums. Cool. Just skimming it. Let's do the same thing with this one. All right. There we go. All right, so sweet. So I'm gonna get these over to the artist, producer, and my Warrior bass sounds clean. Yeah, of course, it's a Warrior. Vic, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Who is that? Rollins. Appreciate you, man. Yep. And that's it for this episode of Jermaine Morgan TV, guys. Thank y'all for watching, and let me know after this. Please comment below. Comment your name. I'm gonna be doing a string giveaway again. Don't forget, because y'all was here for the whole thing. I'd hate for y'all to miss out on this giveaway. Comment your name. Oh yeah, and also I have the 2 free bass licks. I'll go back and put the link in this video. But you can get access to 2 free bass licks simply by following the link. And I'm just gonna let y'all in on this. If you go follow through with those bass links, it's gonna take you, if you haven't done it before already, I shouldn't even be telling y'all this, but I would say this: my Riffs and Licks course is on my site. The regular price for my Riffs and Licks course is on my site. The courses have became very high in demand, so the price went up on them on my website. But if you go follow the link to get those 2 free bass licks, it's a ridiculous deal on the Riffs and Licks courses. Ridiculous deal. I'm telling you now, so don't get mad when it's gone. I'm just telling you now. So I'm gonna put that in the description so you can go see how to get access. So basically what you do, you receive 2 free licks, and it's gonna prompt you, it's gonna show you the deal for these other bass licks. So I want y'all to get that deal, especially since you were here today. I want you to take advantage of that deal. I'm literally talking about McDonald's money, like literally, for this course, my Riffs and Licks bass course. Don't miss it. Check it out, and it's definitely gonna be a blessing, super blessing to you, for you guys that are on a budget right now. So don't miss it. Howard John, what's up, man? BNA, my pleasure, man. Always good to see bass player that use DAW. Absolutely. So Portugal, I see you, Sergio. Marcus, take care. So Marcus, comment in, like, not in the live chat, comment in the actual video. Once I post a video, or try to go and comment in the live, comment in the actual video. All right. So we'll see you guys, and I'm out of here. Have a blessed day. Take care. Peace.